This week on the playroom build, there's smoke, exploding router bits, a bit of surgery, and figuring out how to work around some really annoying crown molding. Here I'm putting up the last piece of sheathing on the front and then cutting out the window opening with the router. Flush trim bit just rides against the window framing, gives you a perfect cut, no measuring required, but pretty dusty. So here I'm nailing in the piece of the sheathing on this side. You see me using the stud finder. This is actually so I can find where the framing is for the doorway that I'll be cutting out here in a moment. And then once I've found that framing position, I'm just using my level to give me a straight vertical line so that I don't have to keep measuring things as I go. Cutting out the doorways, this is actually pretty fun using the flush router bit just right along the framing. Unfortunately, this is the last one that goes smoothly. You'll see that here in a minute. This is where things start to go south with my router bit. You can start to see a little bit of smoke forming here. I don't notice yet, I'm on the other side of the wall here, but I notice it's not cutting well, and then at some point here I see the smoke pouring out the front side and I realize something's gone pretty wrong. Don't want to set the house on fire while I'm working on this. You can see a whole bunch of sparking there. I get pretty lucky here. You can actually see what's left of the bearing falling off as I pull the router out. And this is what is left, missing a few pieces there. So dug around, found all the pieces, and after this I actually was finding little ball bearings all over the floor for the next month or so. This piece of the sheathing by the ceiling wasn't too hard to do, just had to cut it to length and get it nailed in. The next one that you're going to see took a little bit more work, so I had to scribe the end just to chop off a little piece to make it fit around the crown molding and get flush against the wall below the molding. I wasn't too focused on getting it to match the actual shape of the crown molding because I knew there would be another layer on top of this. And then after I get the cutout for the crown molding in place, I'm then going to mark where those two little metal brackets are that you can see up top so that that can sit flush around those pieces that are actually holding that wall anchored into the ceiling joists above. The mic issues were so frustrating when I was editing this video. You could hear my steps going up the ladder there, but then it just completely cuts out. It's happened multiple times. If you have any suggestions for a better microphone I could be using, please drop a comment below. Right there, that weird little camera pan was my tripod breaking, so it's a pretty cheap one. One of the legs failed. Was able to get replacement bearings, bought a whole bunch of them off of Amazon. I'll drop a link in the description. And pretty easy fix, to be honest. The router blades look to be in decent shape. Still cut really well after this. Just a matter of popping out the old hardware that you saw earlier, putting in a new screw, attaching the bearing. Pretty straightforward. Here I'm starting to cut the 5mm plywood that I'm using for the interior of the play structure. It's nice and sanded. It's got a nice veneer layer. So it's good to just have unfinished on the inside of it. I'm not going to worry about painting it. Not going to worry about covering up with wallpaper or anything like that. Enjoy this lovely cleaning montage as I'm getting the second floor ready to start installing some siding up there. Just have to clean things up a little bit, move some tools around. Here with my new stencil, I'll be dealing a little bit with the walls and the ceiling of the room not being square. Once I can check that this actually does, in fact, line up, I'll figure out what adjustment is needed to the wall sheet that's going to be installed. Cutting out this sheet to match the crown molding was by far the most fiddly bit for this video. Took, I don't know, half dozen attempts to get the shape to line up mostly right, just on my piece of paper that I was using as the initial template. Got that transferred over to the sheathing, cut out, you see maybe a dozen kerf cuts here into the sheathing material so that I could then cut with my jigsaw around the perimeter of the tracing that I did there to get something that mostly fits against the crown molding. Woo! Okay, moment of truth. Let's see how this fits. All right, so it's gonna fit. A lot of dry cuts, practice cuts. Let's try and get this piece to work. I think I finally got it. Come on. Get my fingers under there. Oh, that's very pretty. Clean up these little messes later. Nice. I get a laugh out of this in editing. The dust from the router is causing the camera's autofocus to go haywire. As is the general theme for this video, I just noticed my microphone wasn't on. So that's the last of the openings to get cut out with the router. I've got some trim work to do around the walls, ceiling. Got obviously the finish sheathing for this exterior part to do. Haven't decided what material I want to use for that yet. And I've got to build the railings for the little balcony space over here. After that, it's pretty much done. I was so wrong about my prediction here. I was not anywhere close to being done. It took me about another 2 months just to get through the painting and installation of all of these cedar shingles that you see here. It's worth it, but it was a lot of work. Thanks for joining Cut Twice, Measure Once for this episode of the Playroom build. Stay tuned for the next episode where I start to work on the cedar shingles. If you want to hit that subscribe button or watch some of the other videos in the series, just look for the buttons on the screen. Thanks and have a good one.